Okay. Let's take a look at this replay. Don't be nice. Well, I'm not gonna be a dick. Ooh, Eichenwald. Alright, Ed. Let's see what you got for me. Hey, you got the new junk skin. Nice, I like it. One in 7 and no payout Sag. Yeah. Not doing too well today. Yo, hold on. I just want to see where this Doom is real quick. Is he on the castle? He is on the castle. This is plat? Ain't no way that Doom's plat, dude. Okay, so no issues so far. Suggestion though. Now, just because I do this doesn't mean you have to. But I place a mine here, jump out of spawn, go up here. You do another mine jump, so you do a double. And then I usually do another one here to do a triple. So you triple jump and you get right about here. And while you're jumping, you're spamming as well. So what this does is, one, you get to see their comp. So you can, you get to know what they're running quicker than you would before. Two, you get some spam shots in there to potentially kill someone, because I've actually gotten several kills doing this rollout. And three, when you're at some people, the defense team, some people like to hold on top of the bridge right here, or they will actually push up underneath in front of the bridge, and they'll be right here. Typically, you see that with like Rind if they're fire striking, or maybe Roadhog or something if they're trying to go for an early hook. But when you're up here after the triple jump, what you do is you yeet your trap forward. So you put your trap somewhere between, like, throw your trap so where it lands somewhere between here and here. Maybe even a bit further, maybe even a bit closer to the other side of the bridge. So like from down here to over here. What this does is people will be so focused on you up in the air up here that they won't pay attention to your trap down on the ground. And not to mention, if somebody decided to be greedy and hold up here or on this bridge, chances are they won't notice that you've placed your trap here. So you could end up trapping a Zarya, you could trap a DPS player, even a support if they're playing super close. But the point is you could get a free trap. And because of that, you get free kill, and then, maybe your rollout nades also killed somebody as well, so then you get 2 kills. But that's a good way to open up Eichenwald. Also, keep in mind, I have died many times doing this, because when you're up here, you're very exposed. But because the round just started and you're attacking, it's kind of one of those one and done plays where you do it once and you typically don't do it again. At least the triple jump. If you do happen to die, so when you're here, I typically go this way and then I fall down. So that way, if you do get hurt while you're up there, you can come into this mini and get the health. Spam this side. But also, because they're running a Hanzo, you don't want to stay in here. Because an open sightline against a Hanzo, you're dead if you re-peek multiple times. So you can't do that. So you peek once or twice, then you leave. If you do happen to die, when you come back from spawn, I usually continue with the double jump. So you do once out of spawn, go here, you do it again. And you won't get as high this time, but what it allows you to do is you can still spam nades towards the back right over here where people are typically standing if your team needs to reset. So that's how I open up Eichenwald. You don't have to do that, but I don't really see a reason to not to. since the game just started and you're risking very little. So keep that in mind.
One trick tries to be informative, Omega lol.
Okay, Semper. Okay. You get to GM with Junkrat, yeah? Then you talk to me. Anyway, thanks for the resub. When you... So, presumably you went in here because you were just checking to see if someone was waiting behind. That's fine. Check your profile? Okay, I'll check your profile. I'm not seeing any GM Junkrat. Diamond 2 on damage. Looks like he's still got a lot to learn. Anyway, so I assumed you checked this in case anyone was sitting here waiting. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Don't tell anyone. I think you threw your trap in the wrong spot. But what I would have done, as soon as this ice wall goes down, would have placed my trap in the point of contention where your tank is. One thing I always say is keep your trap in the fight. The fight right now is happening right here. It's not back here where the Doomfist just landed. Plus, Doom is also on his way out. So your trap isn't really going to do much unless he punches back in, which I don't think he's going to do because he already used his punch to get in and now he wants to get out. So keep put your trap in the point of contention where the fight's taking place. Yeah, you want to be careful with those Mei icicles too, because they're exactly like Hanzo arrows. If you peek the same line of sight multiple times, Mei's gonna rando headshot you. Okay, so, one small thing so far, you could definitely correct for it as this replay goes on, but your traps are placed more defensively at the moment. What you want to try and do, especially right... Yeah, okay, so it's coming up. Notice how their Doom is playing a little bit more aggressive than he should. So what I would do in this situation is when your trap comes off cooldown, well, that's when the ice wall comes up. Okay. On the previous trap then, so you replace it, and I think your trap also goes a little. Okay, that's not too bad. But what you want to do is again place your trap in the point around the point of contention. Their Doom is more than likely not going to come all the way back here again. So your trap being here, while it is a just in case measure, I don't think it's going to profit well enough just from sitting here, especially with a Mei. What their Mei is going to do, their Mei is going to wait till their tank pushes past a certain threshold and then wall them off, which is this tunnel area here. So what you want to do is place your trap aggressively, place it further in, like right here, because then when their Doom punches your Ramatra back, well, guess what? Now Doom's trapped right here. And even if you didn't have your trap right there at that moment, let's say you placed it after he was there, so, 1 or 2 seconds after he was there, well, guess what? Doom is back in the same spot, playing aggressively. So if your trap was just a little bit further forward, you would have trapped him, easy kill. So be a bit more aggressive with your traps. And then there's really not much you can do here with the ice wall other than focus on one singular pillar to try and break, get your Ramatra back. But also, because they're running a Mei, this is a perfect time to go up top on this bridge. You don't want to spend time down here. If they're doing the Mei ice wall strat to repeatedly kill your tank, you need to go up here, shoot down into their team so you can avoid the ice wall, and create chaos to mess up their strat. Now that's a good trap right there. Perfect. I was going to comment on that way before you even got the Doomfist in it. Putting a trap like where you're getting ready to fight, that's perfect. So that was good right there. And I do this too. You're playing really careful to avoid getting randomly headshot by the Hanzo. That's good as well. I can tell because your nades are bouncing off spots where you're not intending for them to bounce off of. Happens to me too. So it's good. It's good that you know. Wait, the Mercy. How did the Mercy res that? Okay, hold on. Hold on. We gotta go back and see that.
Covering you. Take this.
She chose the nade first before sleeping, and then heavily whiffs the sleep. So their Mercy is hidden from everyone. There's no possible way you would have known that she was there.
Take this. Deine Pflicht ist nicht getan.
Good trap again, setting up for... So, you're staying on the ground a lot here. You really should go up here. Even if it's just for 2 seconds, because when I've gone up here, Hanzo, he'll typically shoot me and hit me instantly. So then that's when you usually drop back down. but then of course you go back up again. So I think you need to go up on this bridge more, because you'll disrupt the Hanzo, you'll disrupt the Mei, because if you start shooting at the Mei, she has to then pay attention to you and can't wall off the tunnel properly. So I think you should have utilized this bridge more. But it's okay, you got through. So your team gets frozen by Blizzard. Not much you can do on that. I mean, some fights are just going to be pre-decided depending on the ultimates that are ready. As far as your little duel up here with this Hanzo, really, you just whiffed. I mean, it happens. Can't really fault you for that. But what I will fault you for is it seems like you completely just forgot where the Hanzo was gonna go. Because at this point, obviously you didn't see him fly up here because of the X-ray, or because you don't have X-ray. But when you then went round the corner and nothing's here, you know, your next thought should be, oh, he's over here. So you immediately check the right. If he's not there, then you can go, okay, maybe he's downstairs. But he probably wouldn't have been because you just blew him up in the air with that conch mine. So, just slight awareness issue on the Hanzo duel there. And then Mei just comes to finish you off. Not much you can do there.
There's much for you to do.
I still think we can win.
Back from the bone orchard. Sie werden dich ächzen.
So are you behind this tank, or whatever the fuck this thing is, because of the Mei? You didn't want to get headshot by the Mei? You definitely want to be careful of this corner here. Easiest place to die on Eichenwald is this corner. Your trap is in the middle of the pillar. Never seen that one before. Alright, let's see what you got. Nice.
Entirely unavoidable. Blasting up.
Also, I like the globe weapon charm you've got. I didn't know that was a charm. Uh-oh, they went diva. Did you tab out? Oh, you were typing? Ah, okay. You're flaming your Ash? Alright, well, don't do that. Turning hacks on? Yo, what up, Stevo? So, interesting thought here. The enemy Hanzo is not on the high ground. You saw the Hanzo duel? Yeah, so, in this instance, I think actually you're playing a bit too passive. So you hung around here for, yeah, a good bit. So, let me see. All right, so here is where you need to change what you're doing because um you're a bit too passive here. You need to start doing is move further over to the right because Hanzo is back there. You know, presumably you're keeping it safe back here because you don't want to get killed by the Hanzo, but you can also keep it safe over here where the Hanzo can't see you. And then you have a free shot on their Diva and both of their supports because weirdly enough, both their DPS are behind their supports. So I think you just need to play a bit more aggressively here. Take this angle because you're going to do a lot more trying to hit their supports than shoulder peeking a Hanzo. That might actually still end up one-tapping you because you're still peeking into his line of sight. And he's the only one you've got view on. And don't be afraid to use a concussion mine to boost yourself past the Hanzo line of sight to the other side where you should go. So here, what you should have done was actually jump. I hate this free cam setup. You actually probably should have jumped up here and contested their Ana a bit since she was playing aggressive. Their Hanzo's still behind this wall. So you come up here, you start shooting at their Ana, maybe their Diva, their Mei turns. Maybe she'll shoot at you, but then you can duck in here, be hidden from the Mei. Now, doing that might be kind of risky because their Diva then might come after you. But your Diva seems to be pretty busy with your Ramatra. So if you can find the window, also you can keep track of Diva and make sure that she has used her thrusters so she can't chase after you if you do go up here. But what going up here allows you to do is then you can then slowly peek this and come up behind. Junkrat is all about creating chaos, and the more chaos that you can create, the more panicked their team will be, and the more things they have to pay attention to. It's why soldiers, it's why certain soldiers, like high-rated soldiers, you don't really see them playing behind their tanks much. Usually they're on the high ground or on the opposite end of their team, and they're being a nuisance because they're shooting you from a different angle while the rest of the other 4 players are coming at you from one other direction, and then you have soldiers peppering you in the back. It doesn't matter if that soldier never gets any kills. What he did was take your attention and a tiny bit of your HP while the rest of the team dove you. So I think you're playing a bit too passive here, especially now that the payload has blocked the line of sight from the Hanzo. You can now afford to move out some, and it looks like no. Okay. Just having an aggressive junk off to the side, they usually fall for it. It's important not to get too aggressive though, because like I mentioned with that Diva, if you don't push that Ana on the high ground correctly, that Diva is then gonna eat your ass for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you have to make sure you go about pushing it right. When you go in for an aggressive push, like on that Ana, if you go in too far, Diva's going to immediately clap your ass. But if you go in to the point where, like imagine there's a line close to where that Ana was. If you push that Ana aggressively and you pass that line, Diva takes your ass out. But if you go up there and you don't pass that line, Diva doesn't. Because from the Diva's perspective, you didn't pass that threshold of needing to kill you. Also, let me turn this on since it's a little dark. And part of being a higher rank is knowing where that line is and knowing when to do those aggressive pushes. So And it's funny, most of the junks that I do VOD reviews on, they're actually too aggressive. I think right now you're a bit too passive.
This a minute.
Okay. Not bad, but Mercy is just gonna res that. A little trick you can do with the Rip Tire, is one that a lot of junks don't know. When you're driving it up a wall, like this wall as well. What you can do is when you want to leave the wall's surface, is, since you can see my mouse, what you want to do is you want to jiggle your mouse like this, sort of. You spam the jump button as well. Do that at the same time, and your Rip Tire will fling off the wall. It'll give you an extra jump. It'll get your Rip Tire some height, and it'll put your tire in a better position. Because the way tire is right now, it's very sticky, and it's hard to maneuver your tire the way you want to. So you see how it kind of like struggles once it gets to the tops of those walls, and it kind of has to like,
Hold this a minute.
I don't know how to explain it, but it struggles to move when you finish those climbs, and it disrupts the flow of the Rip Tire very easily, and it can throw you off from getting the tire that you want. Because oftentimes for me, in my head, I envision how I want my Rip Tire, like, I know what I want to do with my Rip Tire. I envision the path that I want to take it on the map. And then when I try to take it along that path, because of how the Rip Tire movement sucks, the path that I take disrupts the movement of the tire. And so to combat that, you can do like that little flick jump tech, and that will help mitigate the Rip Tire doing its shenanigans. It used to climb a lot better, but
Fly, my little friend.
your team is really kind of everywhere. Your Ramatra went back in before your team even like had a chance to regroup.
Enemy contact. 30 seconds remaining.
So, one thing here, as soon as that Mei enters her ice block, you have 2 concussion mines available. Throw one at her, stick it on the ice block, and then when she comes out, detonate it. It's just a matter of putting your utility to use. And you're sitting on both concussion mines. You don't need to. Throw one at her. Because guess what? Your diva just went in. If you had thrown your concussion mine on the ice block, she comes out and you detonate it right as she comes out, Well, now she's down 120 health. And it didn't look like she healed to full. Oh, no, she did. Well, regardless of that, she's still down 120 health. And your diva right now is going full dick into their team. So, if you blew up Mei right as she comes out of her ice block, she goes flying into the air. Your diva sees that, and then diva pursues the Mei that's in the air, missing 120 health, and diva's now shooting and using her micro missiles. So that Mei could have died. So don't forget about your utility there. Yo, Jacklz, what up, dude? Nice. Judging by the timer. Please tell me you guys win this. Okay, so okay. Here's what you do. Now, it's just Diva here on the point. I probably would not have used Riptire either. Until, listen for it, you hear Mercy ult. What does that mean? It means their team is now going to try and stop this point from being capped. So what do? You need to deploy Riptire here. Doesn't matter if the Diva's right there. You need to do it right here, right now. Because even in GM, a mechless Diva can be one of the hardest targets to kill. So you don't want to take any chances. Mercy already came out and Valked. It's taking too long for this Diva to be killed. Red flag number 1. I mean, I just said it. Red flag number 1, Mercy Valks. That should be enough to get you to deploy the Riptire. Red flag number 2, Diva's still alive. This Riptire should have been deployed 3 seconds ago. As soon as you hear Mercy come out with the Valkyrie, you deploy Tire. Because guess what? You deploy Tire, you either kill only the Diva, or you kill Mercy and the Diva. And guess what that does? It discourages this Mei from coming in and using Blizzard because 2 of her teammates are now dead. However, it is plat, so she still might have come in and used her ult. But even if she does that, the important thing is Mercy is dead and Diva's dead. And if Mercy isn't dead, Diva's dead, and it's just Mei and Mercy, and you still have more of a fighting chance. To continue pushing this point. So you may not have used your Riptire because you either felt you didn't need it or you didn't want to use it because you felt, I mean, I guess it's the same thing. You felt you didn't need it because you felt you captured the point. Thing is, in Overwatch, it's not over till it's over. I've made that mistake many times. But even making that mistake myself, I would not have made it hearing that Mercy Valk. So I think you messed up here. The rest of the replay has been pretty okay so far. Like really nothing too big. I just little minute, like little small comments. But here I think you definitely messed up.
Score 0-1.
Your tank has been a little lackluster as well. Your team's kind of everywhere attacking the second point too. But you guys definitely could have pushed and captured second point had you deployed your tire there.
One. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Good up, JT dog. And I want to say again, for this being plat, you're actually really good at hiding from the Hanzo, at like preventing line of sight from the to the Hanzo, which is, you normally don't see that in plat. So I think you made another boo boo here. So the thing is with Junkrat, if you're gonna flank with Junkrat, you need to make sure that you're doing something, because when you're flanking, your damage obviously is not on the front line. So the enemy team already has more pushing power. If you're flanking, you need to make it quick. Or you need to just peek it very quickly and leave. You either need to make something happen, draw more attention, or don't do it at all. So, right there, you did some good damage on the Mei when you were spamming over here. But I think you stayed here too long. So going over here is not a bad idea. I've done this myself. But after I've placed this trap, I've returned to the front line. So I'll go back over here, and I'll help contest this D.Va. And another interesting point about their Hanzo doesn't seem to be playing off angles. Probably because he's plat and doesn't really know any better. But typically you'd see Hanzo with Mercy Pocket coming over here and pushing this sideline. And which brings up another good point. If Hanzo decides to push this with a Mercy, you're dead. Unless you're quicker on your nade mine combo, you're dead. Because Hanzo Mercy, easy Junkrat counter. But anyway, when you're sitting here spamming, I think, one, you're playing too far back. You play about here, you go to this side, you play here. What you need to do is you need to play up here, on this corner. Because, one, your target's closer, so they're easier to hit. Two, your nades get there quicker. Three, you might actually draw some attention from that Hanzo because you're so close. So I think you should have done that, but also I think you shouldn't have done that in the first place. I think you should be focusing on this here, on main. It's fine to go visit this over here, but personally for my playstyle, you don't want to spend much time looking at this. Because while you did damage the Mercy and the Ana, you didn't kill them. And you didn't detract from their attention, because they just paid attention to the rest of their team and they didn't even mind you. So let's take a look at what their D.Vas, or how your tank's doing now. Tank got walled. Yeah. Mei, a lot of people, especially in the lower ranks, don't know how to deal with Mei and the ice wall. So that already sets your team at a disadvantage. But if you were up here in the front, shooting at their team, you would either be forcing D.Va to use her defense matrix, so she's not going to be able to push forward or play as aggressively, or you would be hitting D.Va, or the Mei, or the Hanzo, damaging somebody to force them back, to prevent them from getting the confidence to put that ice wall up and chase your tank down in the first place. So I think you were playing in the wrong spot. But also, your tank does kind of suck. It's not, it's definitely not like a, oh, this was all on you. No, your tank kind of sucks. But, you know, they're plat, so it's not like they really know any better. Because it looks like the way you were playing right here on this right side and the way you died, it looks like you were totally stunned to turn around and see your whole team dead. So I think you also need to be a bit more aware, but that the awareness comes when you get higher rank, or well, better awareness leads to being higher ranked. So people in the lower ranks typically have lower awareness. And that's really just something that comes with game experience and game sense.
Let's give it a fair shot, mate.
Objective lost. Stop the pain.
Man, what is your Ryan doing, man? I was gonna say, you were taking a little too long to get to that high ground. Should be going up there pretty quick. Not much you can really do there. Hanzo just took you by surprise. I don't blame you for not knowing he went up the wall beside you, because the footsteps in this game are really trash. And it's hard to actually pinpoint where people are. Especially, they used to be a lot better about... footsteps used to be a lot better. Nowadays, if somebody is close to you, it's actually kind of hard to tell where they are, because the footsteps just aren't as good anymore. Don't really blame you too much for dying to Hanzo there. But you still should have taken high ground sooner. You stayed down low a little bit too long. This segment here, I think you're moving really slow. It almost feels like it almost feels like you're looking for something to do rather than knowing what you need to do. So it looks kind of like you're not sure what to do here. You probably shouldn't have put your trap there, because it's not where the payload is, and the payload is the point of contention. And earlier at the beginning of the VOD, I mentioned put your trap around the point of contention, so that you actually get value from it. Exactly right. You had no clue. Okay. Yeah, because right here, like, too much nothing is happening right now from your perspective. You need to start doing things. And then the Hanzo just surprises you out of nowhere again. Which happens at every rank.
Keep a bad lad down.
Okay. Um. So here, I think you also hit a bit too much here as well. I know there was a Hanzo that was kind of keeping you in here a little bit, which is understandable because I also hide from Hanzos like that. But now he's dead. Brig's dead, or not? Hanzo's dead. Brig killed him. Um, you almost have Tyre. What you need to do is try and get Tyre as soon as possible. So if you need to play a bit more aggressive to do that, then that's what you need to do. And you're kind of still just hiding back in this spot. What I would have done is would have moved out here. Obviously, there's a blizzard going on, so you can't move in yet. But you move out here, and you use this to peek. So you play this wall. That way, you're closer to the action. You can get your rip tire quicker because hopefully, you know, you'll hit something. You're more likely to hit something because you're closer. And as a bonus, you can also peek this. So you can maybe disrupt their Ana a little bit. Not too important to do that, but just get out of this area because then you can use this wall as a spot to use your to deploy your tire too. So. Okay. So, overall, not bad. You surprisingly, you actually don't have, at least from this one. My camera's all blurry. There we go. At least from this one replay, you don't have a lot of the problems that other plat Junkrats do. A lot of lower ranked Junkrats are too aggressive. And they make so many mistakes by playing too aggressive. I think in a couple instances you were too passive. I do like your passive playstyle though. It reminds me a lot of my playstyle, and I think it is good how you handled it for the most part. Because you managed to avoid Hanzo sightlines, Mei sightlines, so you didn't suffer from being randomly killed by Hanzo from across the map like some players do. So I think your sightline management is good. Mainly, one thing you need to work on is place your trap in the fight more. Also, maybe go for more aggressive traps, like with what I was talking about with the Doomfist at the beginning. And then make sure that when you're playing, if 30 seconds of nothing happens from your perspective and the team fight is still going, you need to change something. Hell, if 10 seconds of nothing is happening from your perspective, you need to change something. And by change something, I mean switch angles, play more aggressively, peek something. And also take the high ground. There were a couple times where you stayed in one spot on a low vantage point for too long, and I'm sitting there thinking, you should be taking high ground. Are you okay? You should go now. Okay, go now. Okay, now you should be up there. And you never went up there. So, if the enemy team is not going to prevent you from playing there, you should take that spot. Not all the time, but in instances where that vantage point would lead to more opportunities than the one you've currently got. So, um, and then uh, I think in this game you really only messed up in. I think there were two instances where if you played differently, this game could have really turned for your favor. And one was when you were attacking second point when it was just Diva on cart and you heard Mercy Valk. You had Riptire, you definitely should have used it there. Um, and then when you were defending first point, you were off on the right side, and while you were damaging their supports, you weren't taking away any attention from their team, so you weren't really doing anything. But other than that, I think it was pretty good. Pretty good for plat gameplay as well. So, um, just take those things and try to improve on that and see where you get. And then if there's another game where, you're like, okay, what could I have done differently? You can bring that game and we'll take a look at it as well and see what went wrong. But also, again, your tank kind of sucked. Since it's plat, you can you can explain it. Oh well, they're plat. They didn't really know what to do, and it's like, okay, yeah, that a lot of people struggle to play against Mei, even in Masters where my tank account is. People can struggle to play against Mei. So, in those scenarios, what you can do from playing Junkrat is, uh, you can just keep disrupting the Mei. Throw your concussion mines at her. Boop her into the air. She goes in ice block. By the way, you can place your trap on top of Mei's ice block, and when she comes out of the ice block, it will trap her. So, if you're close enough, put a trap on her. But, yeah, just displace Mei as much as you can if you go against them. Because then, they'll either mess up their wall placement or they will delay their wall placement because they just got booped into the air. So, you typically as Junkrat want to create as much chaos as you can, and you want to shut down. I mean, basically for any character, you want to shut down who is providing the most value on the enemy team. In this case, it was the Mei. Everyone else was kind of on standby. The Mei was making the plays happen with the ice wall, and your team not really knowing how to play against it, specifically your tank. So, yeah, just keep that in mind and see where you go. I think you actually already have a lot of good traits that players in lower ranks don't. Believe it or not, it takes players a really long time to understand to not continuously repeat the same sightline, or to even stand in an open sightline, regardless of how far away it is from a Hanzo. There was a match that I had against J3 once, and I was even talking to chat, because J3 was on Hanzo, and I said, when there's a Hanzo on the battlefield, you have to play so differently, because if you stay within a line of sight of the Hanzo for a long enough time, you will die to that Hanzo. You'll either die to the Hanzo or you'll get lit by the Hanzo and then somebody else will finish you off. So you need to minimize sightlines as much as possible when going against characters like that, and you already do that, which is good. A lot of players don't do that, and a lot of players struggle with that, and they struggle learning that, So that's good that you already have that. So, but that's about it. Just keep that stuff in mind.